Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lam, in for Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. A recent home shooting left 6 dead in the state's Central Valley. Authorities are still searching for the 2 suspects. Residents across the state are now grappling with the aftermath of the weeks-long storms. Some roads have become small rivers due to the flooding. San Francisco's Reparations panel released a new draft recommendation to give every qualified African American resident in the city $5 million. 6 people were shot and killed at a home in Goshen, California, Monday. The dead include a 17-year-old mother and a 6-month-old baby. Authorities say the attack was targeted. They described it as a horrific massacre. Deputies responded to reports of multiple shots fired at around 4 in the morning. Here's more from the county sheriff.
Actually, the report was they believed an active shooter was in the area because of the number of rounds that were being fired. The whole situation is tragic. We have a 17-year-old mother and a 6-month-old child, both of which were shot in the head. We have at least 2 suspects at this point. We also believe that this is not a random act of violence. We believe that this was a targeted family. We believe that there are gang associations involved in this scene, as well as potential narcotics investigations. As of a week ago, we as the Sheriff's Office actually conducted narcotics search warrants at this residence.
The 2 suspects have not been caught. The sheriff says he has information he hopes will lead to them, but he wasn't able to discuss that at this point. 2 of the slain were found in the street. A 3rd was found in the doorway of the house. The other 3 were found inside the home. 1 man was still alive when police arrived. He later died at the hospital. Now that the weather is finally forecasting a break in the rain this week, residents across the state are grappling with the aftermath of the storms. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more on the latest round of tribulations that Californians are facing.
Roads looked like rivers in San Diego, California on Monday. The state has been battered by a series of severe storms since late last month. A string of atmospheric rivers, storms like rivers in the sky that can carry moisture thousands of miles, have been dumping massive amounts of rain. Small rainstorms lingered on Monday from San Francisco through central California. Water was edging close to Tower Bridge Road in Sacramento. However, Californians might see things starting to dry up this week. The National Weather Service says the state should start to see a break from the heavy rain Tuesday, but forecasters warn of possible mud and rock slides in areas with canyons and steep hills. The ground is saturated after 3 weeks of rain and snow. The record rainfall has soaked California's steep hillsides, causing hundreds of landslides and heightening the threat to communities. This road in Pescadero collapsed over the weekend after days of heavy rainfall. Hillsides left barren by wildfires and drought make it hard for the land to absorb so much water. There have been at least 19 storm-related deaths since the storms started. More than 8 million people were under flood watches Monday night. President Biden approved California's request for a federal disaster declaration on Saturday. Federal funding will go towards recovery efforts in the 3 most impacted counties: Merced, Sacramento, and Santa Cruz. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
The Reparations Committee in San Francisco released a new draft proposal that includes paying every qualified long-term African American resident $5 million. NTD's Jason Blair has more.
San Francisco's Reparations Committee pitched an updated draft proposal which includes $5 million to each qualified African American resident. Also included is a comprehensive debt forgiveness program and, for lower income qualifiers, financial supplementation to reflect the area median income of about $97,000 for 250 years. The proposal states a lump sum payment would compensate the affected population for the decades of harms that they have experienced and will redress the economic and opportunity losses that Black San Franciscans have endured collectively as the result of both intentional decisions and unintended harms perpetuated by city policy. To qualify for a $5 million payment, the resident would need to be at least 18 years old and show that they have identified as Black or African American for at least 10 years on public documents. The resident also must meet 2 of 8 additional standards. This includes having lived in San Francisco for at least 13 years and/or being a direct descendant of someone enslaved before 1865. So far, there are no official estimates on how much the proposal would cost the city. The committee is scheduled to make its final recommendation to leaders in June. Jason Blair, NTD News, San Francisco.
At the University of California, a recent faculty survey has reported that professors are withholding over 40,000 final grades for the past fall semester. This comes shortly after a 6-week strike by academic workers ended at the end of December.
Professors in the University of California system, or UC for short, are withholding about 40,000 fall semester final grades. That's according to a faculty survey conducted by the Council of University of California Faculty Associations. The report came on January 11th. The UC must now determine how it will return thousands of final grades for the fall 2022 semester in the aftermath of a 6-week strike by 48,000 academic workers. The strike ended December 23rd when UC ratified its contract with leaders of the United Auto Workers. But because academic employees such as teaching assistants are often left responsible for grading, the strike left many classes without teaching assistants to grade assignments and end-of-semester exams. Additionally, some professors chose to leave fall grades unsubmitted out of solidarity with academic workers. In a January 4th letter, leaders from several unions told UC labor officials that neither their members or faculty are required to complete the work assigned to strikers. The letter says, quote, Senate faculty members and lecturers have no obligation to volunteer to pick up labor struck by academic student employees employed in their classes. Readers and teaching assistants in the union enjoy legal protections during their strike, and their appointments for the fall quarter terminated on December 31st at the latest while the strike was active. Union officials say that the university can hire people if it needs additional labor to submit fall grades. According to a statement released last month, UC Davis Provost Mary Krogan says that not receiving a grade on final exams will not influence UC Davis students' grade point average, financial aid, or eligibility for veteran benefits or visa status. Many campuses also extended the deadlines for instructors to submit final grades. A UC spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment by press deadline.
Emergency rooms in California are reporting a significant rise in cannabis-related visits amongst senior citizens. Experts are saying the influx is due to the older generation using the drug as a component of palliative care.
An alarming study conducted by the University of California, San Diego, or UCSD, has concluded that cannabis-related emergency room visits rose by over 1,800% since 2005 for Californians over the age of 65. The study was published on January 9th in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. Researchers used data from the Department of Healthcare Access and Information and found that emergency room visits among senior citizens rose from 366 in 2005 to 12,167 in 2019. According to a press release, UCSD says that the data is concerning since older adults are, quote, at a higher risk for adverse health effects associated with psychoactive substances, including cannabis. Dr. Benjamin Hahn, a geriatrician in the Division of Geriatrics, Gerontology, and Palliative Care at UCSD, is the study's first author. He says, quote, many patients assume they aren't going to have adverse side effects from cannabis because they often don't view it as seriously as they would a prescription drug. Back in 1996, a law passed in the state approving the use of medical marijuana. By 2017, recreational use was approved by state voters. The study emphasized that cannabis use amongst older adults can lead to unintended consequences. It stresses that education regarding marijuana should be included in routine medical care visits.
Let's take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. People living in the San Francisco Bay Area or Los Angeles know that traffic can be pretty bad at times. A recent data analysis found that these areas are among some of the most congested cities in the country. California has ambitious climate goals to reduce gas emissions, but a report from the state's Legislative Analyst's Office says the goals lack a clear strategy. And an exhibit in Los Angeles is taking Tesla fans down memory lane. It showcases some of the first ever Tesla models and some that have never been seen before. That and more on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Lamb. One company examined how much time drivers spend during traffic delays globally in 2022. Of the United States' top 25 cities listed, some California cities made it on that list.
A recently published 2022 report by INRIX, a traffic data and analytics company, analyzed global congestion. Rankings were based on how much time motorists spend during traffic delays. Here are the top 25 most congested 2022 U.S. cities. 5 of the top 25 cities are in California. The report found that drivers lost 51 hours and $869 in 2022 from traffic, 15 hours more from the previous year. Last year, motorists also saw increased gas prices, affecting American drivers' pockets at the pump. California had one of the highest prices. For example, Los Angeles saw an average price of $5.49 compared to $4 in 2021. Angelenos paid on average $315 in 2021. According to INRIX, American drivers spent around 4.8 billion hours stuck in traffic nationally. That is still lower than pre-pandemic numbers. In 2019, drivers sat through about 6 billion hours in traffic delays. It's no surprise that some of the roads with the worst traffic delays also fall in California. Of the 25 most congested roads, the state is home to 8 of them, 4 in Southern California and 4 in Northern California. The good news is, California is not on the global top 10 list of the most congested cities.
California says it has the most ambitious set of climate goals in the world and has aggressive plans to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. However, the Legislative Analyst's Office says the reductions are lacking a clear strategy.
The Legislative Analyst's Office, or LAO, says California's aggressive climate plan and roadmap is lacking a clear strategy for meeting its first greenhouse gas reduction goal in 2030. That's according to a report published on January 4th. Last December, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, adopted an equity-focused 300-page climate action plan and roadmap to meet the state's goal of reaching carbon neutrality by 2045. The agency also adopted a more ambitious goal for 2030, seeking to reduce emissions by 48%. But the analyst's office says that without a clear roadmap, state departments will be forced to identify and adopt necessary policy changes in a short time, which could make the process, quote, costlier and/or disruptive for private businesses and households. According to the report, CARB's plan lacks clarity about how much the state will rely on financial incentives, regulatory programs, or cap and trade, a government program that puts a cap on emissions and requires companies to pay for extra allowances to achieve these goals. The plan also fails to provide the state legislature with enough information on potential financial and environmental impacts. In November 2022, Governor Gavin Newsom applauded the plan, calling it, quote, the most ambitious set of climate goals of any jurisdiction in the world, and if adopted, it'll spur an economic transformation akin to the Industrial Revolution. The plan reflects the governor's call for more aggressive climate measures and a faster transition to clean energy. By 2045, it aims to cut air pollution by 71% and reduce the consumption and demand of fossil fuel by 94%. The LAO has recommended that the legislature should direct CARB to submit a report by July 31st to clarify its plan.
About 600 people alive today cannot have children because the California government sterilized them without consent or knowledge. The state is trying to find them and pay reparations. But after a year of searching, the state has only approved 51 people.
Beginning in 1909, California had the nation's largest forced sterilization program that sterilized about 20,000 people. Today, the state is looking for approximately 600 people who were part of the project and still alive. These people are unable to have children because the government sterilized them against their will or without their knowledge. The state is trying to find the victims so they can pay them at least $15,000 each in reparations. There are two groups that are eligible for the money: those who were sterilized by the government during the eugenics movement in the 1930s and those who were victimized while in state prisons about a decade ago. But after a year of searching, the state has only approved just 51 people for payment out of 310 applications. State officials have denied 103 people, closed the 3 incomplete applications, and are processing 153 others. Officials say it's difficult to verify the applications since many records have been destroyed or lost. Linda Gledhill, executive officer of the California Victims' Compensation Board, oversees the program. She says, quote, "We try to find all the information we can, and sometimes we just have to hope that somebody maybe can find more detailed information on their own. We're just sometimes not able to verify what happened." California was the 3rd state to approve reparations for forced sterilization victims back in 2021. It joins both North Carolina and Virginia. There is only 1 year left to look before the $4.5 million program shuts down. Survivors are encouraged to visit www.victims.ca.gov/FISCP to obtain an application. Liang Zhang, NTD News, California.
As California sets its goal for electric vehicles, an exhibition in Los Angeles takes a look back at Tesla's automobiles. The exhibit displays models from the early years up to the latest.
Visitors at the Peterson Automotive Museum can take a look down Tesla's history in a new exhibit called Inside Tesla: Supercharging the Electric Revolution. The exhibit, which opened last year on November 20th, is set to house the most all-inclusive collection of Tesla models.
Tesla has accomplished in such a short period of time compared to the rest of the industry, specifically around electrification. It's an amazing story to see unfold.
12 of the models on display are rare vehicles or have never been seen before.
There are many car companies that have attempted to be successful building mass-produced electric cars. There are many that continue to attempt to it. Those in the past, unfortunately, just did not meet the success that Tesla did. Those that are doing it now are all attempting to meet the success that Tesla has had. So really, it all comes back to them.
The exhibit showcases Tesla's creations, such as the first mass-produced Tesla, the 2008 Tesla Roadster. Then there's the 2021 Model S Plaid, which Tesla claims has the quickest acceleration of any vehicle. Tesla also has a pickup truck, the Cybertruck, which looks like something from a Terminator movie. There is also a Semi, which is parked in the museum's car park.
There's no way around it. Tesla has changed the world.
2023 marks the 20th year since the automaker's founding. Today, Tesla is recognized as one of the world's leaders in electric car manufacturing. Over the years, other electrical automakers have tried and failed, but the Tesla model continues to impress.
This exhibit is significant because as we look at the automotive landscape today, Tesla is one of the biggest players, and around 20% of all the electric cars sold globally are Teslas, which is significant given their price point because they're not exactly accessible to everyone, which makes that stat even more impressive.
But like many large companies, Tesla had humble beginnings. In the early 2000s, it took inspiration from another electric vehicle, the T0, built by American company AC Propulsion. Elon Musk acknowledged in a 2018 tweet the importance of T0, saying, "Major credit to AC Propulsion for the T0 electric sports car 1997 to 2003 that inspired Tesla Roadster. Without that, Tesla wouldn't exist or would have started much later." The exhibition, Inside Tesla: Supercharging the Electric Revolution, also includes Elon Musk's other companies, the Hyperloop and SpaceX. Tickets are available at the Peterson Automotive Museum and will run until October 22nd, 2023.
Now to NTD's Tyler Castillo for an update on sports.
I'm Tyler Castillo, taking you through the California Today Sports Roundup.
Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers scored 4 touchdowns to beat the visiting Seattle Seahawks on Saturday afternoon. Christian McCaffrey scored the first touchdown of the game and ended the night with 136 scrimmage yards. The Seahawks had hope as the first half ended with a score of 17-16, a 1-point lead for Seattle. In the third quarter, Mr. Relevant Brock Purdy scored a rushing touchdown in his playoff debut. Elijah Mitchell scored a touchdown from a 6-yard pass from Purdy, with George Kittle scoring the 2-point conversion on Mitchell's touchdown. In the fourth quarter, Deebo Samuel scored a 74-yard touchdown for a total of 6 receptions for 133 yards for the night. 49ers 41, Seahawks 23. The Los Angeles Chargers had a 27-point lead in the first half, but Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars made a comeback to win in Jacksonville. Austin Eckler helped the Chargers gain the lead early in the game, scoring 2 touchdowns within 15 minutes in the first half. Gerald Everett recorded 6 receptions on 8 targets for 109 yards and scored a touchdown in the second quarter. Late in the second quarter, the Jaguars scored a touchdown from Evan Engram where the momentum shifted. After halftime is where it all went down for the Chargers, who allowed the Jaguars to put up 24 points in the second half, which cost them the game. The Chargers are now eliminated in the playoffs. Chargers 30, Jaguars 31. LeBron James became only the second player in NBA history to score 38,000 career points as he inches closer to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time record. He only needed 11 points to reach the milestone, and he hit a mid-range jumper in the first quarter of the Los Angeles Lakers home game against the Philadelphia 76ers to move past the milestone. LeBron James eventually finished with 35 points, but it was a bittersweet night as the Lakers lost by 1 point. The 38-year-old forward has averaged 29 points per game this season. LeBron James is now 363 points behind Abdul-Jabbar, and based on his scoring average, NBA experts expect him to break the record before the All-Star break next month. 76ers 113, Lakers 112.
And that's the Sports Roundup for today.
And that's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like for you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage, which you can find at ntd.com/California-Today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. You can send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lam, in for Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.